Invisible Man.
Plug.
So, in the book The Invisible Man, the main character Griffin goes through a lot of change and development throughout the book. But what exactly is this change and development that he experiences? In the beginning of the book, Griffin starts out as a regular guy. He's a scientist working on this solution to make something invisible. Though, after he turns himself invisible, society starts to dehumanize him. And as society dehumanizes him more and more because of his intangibility, he becomes less attached with society and all these societal norms, which gives him the ability to not feel any empathy whenever he does anything illegal. So allow me to elaborate on this a little more. So whenever you think about doing something illegal, like for example stealing, stalking, attacking, or hurting someone, the reason why a majority of people don't do it is because of the fact that it is illegal. We have deemed these things irresponsible and illegal because we don't want these things happening to one another. However, now Griffin is invisible. He doesn't adhere to these laws anymore because people don't see him as someone anymore. He's intangible. He's both invisible physically and societally. And this is portrayed in the book throughout his many interactions. In the beginning of the story, he's a pretty normal guy. He's just a scientist working on this cure for invisibility. He's a little antisocial and he doesn't really want to be talked with. But hey, who are we to blame him? However, as the story portrays, we can see him become more and more irritable. When he drinks the invisibility potion, we see his first detachment from society. And that's with his first crime, which is arson. He burns down his apartment in spite of his landlord. After this, he goes to the town and then he's beat up by the townspeople. This is his second detachment from society. Society has made it known to him that he's not one of them anymore. He's not socially accepted anymore. So, subconsciously, this is being fed into Griffin. This plays into his second act. After being attacked by the locals, he looks for a disguise to disguise himself to blend in with society and be seen again. However, he isn't able to do that normally because he's invisible and he doesn't want to out himself. Likewise, he has no money and he's not able to communicate with anyone. So he does what any normal person does. He breaks into a costume shop, beats up an old man, knocks him out, ties him up, and then robs the dude, taking all of his money, taking his clothes, his costumes, just for his own selfish needs. It doesn't take a genius to know that those are all crimes. The crimes in those listed as battery, assault, breaking and entering, robbery, and attempted murder, which is a little more significant from the last time he committed the crime. And why is this? It's because of his slow detachment from society. However, this phenomenon isn't just something portrayed in a book. This isn't fictional at all. This is a real life thing. For example, I interviewed a bunch of people asking them what they'd do if they were invisible. And the answers I got were along the lines of what Griffin would probably do.
I would probably go stalk some people.
Low key, like, I think I would. What would I do? I think I would jack somebody off.
I'd follow my crush around all day and stalk them.
I'd steal all the iPhones in the Apple Store.
Show up to random Airbnbs and like break in and just enjoy the Airbnb.
And this really comes down to the human psyche. When we think about doing something, the only reason we don't do it is because of the corresponding reaction that it'll have for us. It's kind of like the MAD acronym that we learned in world history. Mutually assured destruction. If you do one thing, something else will happen again. So the reason why we don't do that thing is because we don't want that thing to happen. However, that takes away half the equation. If you do one thing and then another person doesn't do that thing back, then you can do whatever you want without any consequences, which is shown in Griffin in those questions that I asked earlier. So in conclusion, the development between Griffin is connected with his society. He starts out as a normal guy because society makes sure he's a normal guy. However, as the story goes on, he listens less to what society tells him to do and he does what he feels like out of his own selfish need, which is also the reason why he appears to be selfish in the book.